Hello and very warm welcome to my viewers at the YouTube channel Dr. Zia Ahmed. Today I'm going to record a very short video on an impressing issue which as an educationist and professor I have come across. It is very little concerned with literature. It's more with the question when the students come back after COVID-19 closures, what are their responses and how they should be dealt with and how they can be brought back really into the classroom. So that is the kind of thing I want to discuss here. Today I can say that there are many type of things which happened during COVID-19. One of the things was the closure of educational institutions, and these closures provided the opportunity to the students to stay at home, and they lost the opportunity to come into the classes. Because of this situation, they have faced lots of issues alongside many of the privileges and facilities they enjoyed at home. So they have been coping with sometime with the issues, and sometimes they were happy that they have not to go to their classrooms. And because of the COVID-19, the very first thing which should be talked about is that online classes were held, and we know very well that the infrastructures, especially in the countries like Pakistan, were not that developed, and as a result, online classes could not deliver in the same way as they were expected to do so in the developed countries of the world. There were so many issues related to the internet connectivity, availability of the devices, and alongside that, the seriousness of the attitude which was required both on the part of the institution as well as the part of the students. This thing possibly was not fully available as it should have been. So that is why most of the time it was a kind of failure of connection between the teacher and the student as compared to the possibility of transmission of the information between the student and the teacher. And so was the case with the examinations. The examinations which were held online, most of the time these examinations were not less than a farce, because the questions which were given, the kind of assignments which were given, they mostly had the readily available answers online, and so the students were able to visit different websites and prepare their answers from there. And alongside that, many facilities were also available to do so. Open book was also available, and the discussion which sometimes the students were able to find within their groups of WhatsApp. So as a result, the examinations were not the examinations which used to be in the real sense of the word. So examination proved to be an easy get through kind of technique. The online studies also proved to be the same one, and so the students took it a great opportunity in order to get the higher grades, and so the result that most of the students are having and enjoying very good scales, very good grades, and their CGPAs and GPAs are very high as compared to the normal classroom activity. So in this way, not only the imparting of information to the students suffered, but also testing and evaluating them, what kind of degree, what kind of skills they possess. That was also the problem that the education system has gone through. Alongside that, we also know very well that when there was no classroom interaction, they didn't learn and acquire any practical skill at all. Because most of the time examinations omitted the practicals, and so the students were not equipped with practical kind of knowledge. They just had the bookish kind of information which they got from internet and from their teachers. Most of the time, practically speaking, they were unable to do anything, and if at all they were given some assignment, that was also not the creative type of thing done by the students. And so most of the time there was a big problem, the huge issue with the learning of the skills of the students. Not only these skills were lacking, their social interaction, which is very much necessary between the student and the teacher, because the training comes only with the social interaction, that was also not available to the students. And if at all there was some kind of interaction through the online classes, it was a fake interaction. It was an interaction based on the medium that was not physically contacting the people, but it was simply the kind of energy, the vibration which make them so. Otherwise, most of the time the interaction was not available, and so the students were divested of the quality of education which they can get in the classroom. So all these situations have impacted the education system, the students and the teachers and the institutions, and as a whole the society. So when these things begin to relent up to some extent their impact, the kind of disease we experienced, and the reopening of the institutions started at that time, the students were very much bored and inactive. They were not ready to join their in-person classes, and the test was at that time taken at the time when examinations were in person, and there was the huge kind of strike and protest done by the students saying that they cannot appear in the in-person classes. So that was a proof that they wanted the similar kind of testing as they had been taught. So in a way, the students were not ready to come to the classroom and take the examination the same way as they used to take it in the traditional manner. They wanted to, appear in online testing as well. And so the problem which happened was the lack of interest of the students. They were bored most of the time. Well, regarding the interest of the students, we can divide them into two major groups. One who were ready to come back and join the classes because they missed their classrooms and they missed their teachers and the class fellows, and they were very much willing to join the classes. And the second category was that they didn't want to come to the classroom. They thought it an easy opportunity to get the degree and go through that as well. Even the first category of the students, they were willing to come to the classroom, but they were not willing to study and attend the classes and make the assignments and learn the skills in the same way as they should be. So in that way, majority of the students were the bored student, was the unwilling student. And here in this lecture, I would like to suggest how these unwilling and bored students can be brought back to the classroom. First of all, we need to do away with the traditional classroom. That should disappear. In the traditional classroom, simply the professor comes and delivers the lecture, goes away. So professor learns something, the students do not learn at all. Rehearsal of the lesson of the professor takes place, and the students actually get nothing unless they do the things with their own hand. So we need to build a classroom which is non-traditional classroom, and for this purpose, activity-based education should be given. We have, of course, a lot of syllabi to be covered. Topics are abundantly available. Most of these topics can be practically practiced, or creative things can be brought in. And so in that way, activity-based education should be given in the classroom in order to save the student from the boredom. Alongside that, life skills are very much important. With respect to these skills, the student must learn something in the classroom, and as a result, his interest will be generated. He will not be bored with the lectures, long lectures, which he needs to attend. And same is the case with the examinations also. The examination should not be the test of the cramming of the student and the banking of some information of the student. Rather, this should be the test of the creativity and ability and ingenuity of the student. Such type of exercises and the questions should be prepared, and the examiners who go to evaluate these questions, they should also be dexterous enough, clever enough, and skilled enough in order to find out whether the question has been answered really or simply some summary has been reproduced. So if this thing is done, the student will need to grow the habits of creativity and genuinity inside the classroom, and the same he will be using in the examination question papers as well. The classroom has certain needs to fulfill on the part of the student. That first of all, we need to maintain the identity, the well-recognized identity of the student. If the student performs in the classroom, he is able to take part in the activities of the classroom. Sometimes he gets the leading role and sometimes he gets the followers rule. In both cases, identity is established. This thing will make our students really very good to feel in the classroom, and they will be able to say that they are able to do something. They don't find the identity in the classroom when they are not allowed to perform anything in the classroom. They therefore go out and try to seek out identity in other means, which may lead them to something socially unacceptable as well. So the classroom should be designed in such a way where the student's identity is maintained according to mark pressure as well. Now, the teacher in the classroom should not be simply the teacher. He must be a learner as well. That he must be asking questions to the students, and he must be ready to answer the questions of the students. He should learn from them. He should pose questions to the student and readily and willingly answer to the students as well. If a student becomes a person who is able to show something, tell something which he knows, definitely he feels good and is very good one. And as Dewey has suggested, that we should teach our students as doers, not as the simple readers of the books. 21st century is bringing these institutions to a special challenge, and education is going to face the special challenge as well, because at this moment we have lots of information available on Google, and people have started to say that YouTube is a good university and Google is the best teacher. So in such a situation, passing of information is not important. Teaching of the practical skills to the student has become more important. So that is why 21st century classrooms should be like that. They should impart practical skills to the students rather than simply the theoretical skills, or a combination of both these things can be established. In our system, we have many extra and co-curricular activities. According to my opinion, these co-curricular activities should be syllabus oriented, so that the topics of the syllabus could be taught through that. Students will happily learn that and they will come out as the product which is successful in the society. It's very much necessary that these things should be done with the help of the practical skills taught to the student. The classroom and the teacher therefore needs to be innovative and involved and dexterous and engaging person. Only then our bored student will be able to get through. I hope these pieces of advice, little pieces of advice, may go a long way if even a little bit of these is practiced. The major purpose is to make the students a fit person in this society, in Pakistani society, in out of Pakistan society. But so far what we are teaching and the way we are teaching, that is not making them fitter for that. So after COVID-19, it has become even more essential to teach them in that way so that the deficiencies could be fulfilled. So thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you have learned something out of it, and if so, do not fail to hit the subscribe button as well. So see you in some next similar video.